I'm Sarah.
And I'm Melissa, and this is our project over French absolutism.
Louis XIV created a government where all the power came from the king, rooted in its belief that all the authority came from God. By centralizing France, he appointed intendants that represented a crown in each province. A 1664 royal letter by France also showed his control through the nation's power and money. Although the parliament could register royal edicts, Louis XIV could revoke it through the Lit de Justice. France's economy was starkly divided through the rich and the poor. The rich lived lavishly while the poor had to pay heavy taxes. The religious minorities, such as the Protestants, also faced persecution because after Louis XIV revoked the Edict of Nantes. This shows how the minorities affected this. The Francis monarchy was based on the divine right of kings, where all the authority came from God. Louis XIV issued the Edict of Fontainebleau, which decreased the France's diversity, destroying Catholic churches and forcing pastors to flee. This shows how the French absolutism allowed them to flee, shaped the religious shape.
Under Louis XIV, art, architecture, and literature flourished. This flourished by the building of Versailles. For example, the Hall of Mirrors in Versailles had 357 mirrors which all reflected sunlight. This shows the great power of Louis XIV. Louis XIV's bedroom also centered the rising and setting of the sun, which shows that he had power over everything, even nature, to his perspective. In France, they relied heavily on trade. French merchants would trade luxury items which reflected the luxurious of Versailles. They also used maritime trade with Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and the colonies. Louis XIV and his financial advisor also created the French East India Company to compete with the British Dutch East India Company. French absolutism died on its own excess because Louis XIV's expenses got very high with expensive wars and the creation of Versailles. He started taxing on poor people. Taxing on poor people made them sadder and angry, and even whenever they had low food, so they put higher taxes on poor people. He didn't tax the clergy or richer people, so it shows inequality in the social status. He taxed, so the storming of Bastille happened with the peasants who got angry, and that was the end of Versailles and the French absolutism in 1789.
The founder of the French absolutism was Louis XIV, and he was also known as Sun King. He was known as a Sun King because he believed that everything in France revolved around him. And he built Palace of Versailles to watch force nobles to live there and watch if any of them were betraying him. Also, he was also in art and architecture and luxurious life, which made France poor and eventually led to French Revolution. And also he funded inventors and scientists to make some inventions, like Von Don made star-shaped board, which is effective for defending. And he also used mercantilism to make France richer, because it is less importation than exportation. And he also taxed on poor people more than rich people, which caused poor people mad, and that caused French Revolution.